I think it's come to a point now where we need to look at the alternative options. Do we need to have a big bulky APS-C camera DSLR or a full frame DSLR? It's a lot of gear to carry around, especially with all the lenses. It gets really big and bulky. Micro Four Thirds, it's been around for a while. They're meant to be lighter. There's a few people that will say out there that there's differences in low light performance, etc, etc. But if you find the niche for what you want to use it for, maybe this isn't going to be a worry. So what are we doing? Well, we're looking at Micro Four Thirds cameras, people. That's what we're doing today. We're going to have a look at a few options. I'm going to do a comparison between them and see what works nicely and what doesn't work. So right now, GH5 Solid Camera from back in the day, 2018. Now, this looks like pretty much an APS-C size camera to me. Of course, it's a Micro Four Thirds option. 10.2 megapixels. Now, it's a small sensor, but you know, capable. What, $1,700? We're going to compare that against the Fujifilm X-T3. Which camera should we buy? Which camera am I going to buy is the question. So out of these, I am going to be picking one or two. I might buy all three. I could do. We'll think about it. We'll think about it. When it comes to this point, if we're going to replace these, we might as well go full all in, innit? So let's see. We'll see what happens. So okay, X-T3 mirrorless. That I just like the top look. Where is it? Where's the view? Oh, where's that photo gone? They used to have a top-down photo of this that looked really good, like those manual dials on the top. So that's a nice option there. 18-55, 2.8, X-T3, and then but that's a APS-C size sensor. I'm sure we'll have a look at the specs. Olympus EM5, that there, kind of that feel of the X-T3, but it's an Olympus. Who would think about that? Well, you'll be lucky enough to know that I'm going to test it out and we're going to see if it's worthy of worthiness. I've got a couple of other options in there just to mix things up a bit. But let's do the side by side. That's what we're here for. Lumix GH5 2018 magnesium alloy body SLR style mirrorless camera. 10 megapixels for the GH5. X-T3 comes in at 26 megapixels. And that is a APS-C. So the X-T3 here is more or less like the 250D SL3 T7, that kind of size of sensor. So that's interesting. But we're going to add it in there because I like the look of it, basically. So maybe, you know what, we're going to take the X-T3 out. That's what we're going to do. Because we're looking at Micro Four Thirds. So technically, X-T3 is like an upgrade to that. Olympus 2019. We've got two options here. One is the EM10, which technically is the smaller brother to the EM5 because it's only 16 megapixels versus the 20. Now, obviously the size of the sensor is smaller, so they can't get as many pixels on the sensor, but having less pixels means they're going to be a slight bit bigger than having more pixels on that little sensor. And we're going to be looking at low light capabilities, photos, and how it works. Image stabilization, 5 axes in the camera on the Olympus. We don't have that in the GH5, it's saying here. I'm looking at DP review and I trust DP review all the time. Stabilization, okay, EM5. So far, because I like the look of the Olympus, it might be the Olympus. Micro Four Thirds, perfect. Tilting, fully articulating on the EM5. Good, tick in the box. So the EM10 is not looking too nice for us at the moment. What else we got? How many frames a second? 30 frames a second. That's a 1080p 30 frames a second. You can literally make a video while taking photographs. Okay, now that looks exciting now. Video 24p in 4K. What? That's not too bad, is it? That's a lot of spec for a camera. That's like a... So Olympus and Panasonic Lumix are the two ones we're looking at right now. And so far, it looks like I've made my decision. HDMI, micro HDMI out, built-in wireless, microphone port yes, headphone port no. So far, the Olympus M5 2019, 20 megapixels. Have we just found our camera? You'll see here which one I ended up getting.